So let's bring down real quick and take care of that.
I saw it. No, I got no feedback there. He's like trying to make it wasn't Lauren. Wait a minute. No. It's like being a little kid. I didn't have a chair. All right, I'll come up with another text.
Yeah, no, this is great.
I got it. Yeah, I got it all. I think I'm on every.
That's fine. I'll just do it at the end. You get a front row?
You are funny.
One thing in my life, so I'm good with ice and hot. I just take ice and hot.
It's got like a menthol allergy.
No, ma'am, you are completely fine. Like I said, I'll take ice and hot over a lot of things, okay?
Oh, Mark.
Right.
Yes, this one.
Can I wear have a position?
Yeah, because I work for one.
You're not biased.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm glad you're documenting.
yeah.
So what's the one? I mean, we saw this.
Make a new line.
And,
That's the only way to remember it is to keep it easy.
right. Okay, they come back.
Raise my hand over here and say, you better
Yeah, I know, but I think it's why. I just got it this morning, that's why I went there. And it's like, yeah, buddy. But these two texts, I didn't sleep all night. I had to go in. And then I was like, darn, I didn't know that I get that.
be a photographer. Okay, I'm right in.
So I'll take a picture of it.
What's your last name? You're encouraged. And if this is fair redistribution and like dessert.
Text me the Constitution that only has criteria.
Do you want House or Senate?
House.
Okay.
Not even me because I literally don't know what else is there.
No, yeah, just chill out here.
This is how I remember this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me think.
Yeah. What's going on with that? I've never used this tripod before.
I'm good. How are you? good. I'm not even covering it. I don't understand. I don't feel like we need.
Start with subcommittee reports. Delegate Rush, do you have a subcommittee report?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. House Bill, this is a subcommittee on campaigns. House Bill, we have one bill to report, House Bill 2415, Delegate Garrett. There was an amendment, so to get it properly in front of us, I'll move the amendment.
All right. The amendment should be in your package. There's a motion to adopt the amendment. Is there a second? All those in favor of adopting the amendment will say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Delegate Rush.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Garrett's bill is in response to a special election for senator in Lynchburg area that there was not enough ballots printed. So this requires the general registrars to consider the number of active registered voters and historical election data, including voter turnout, when determining the number of ballots to be printed. It was recommended reporting 7-0 from the subcommittee, and I so moved.
There's a motion and a second to report House Bill 2415. Delegate Sickles.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is a great bill.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the bill? All those in favor of reporting will vote yes. Clerk will close the roll. That bill is reported.
I thank the chairman of the committee.
Does that complete your report, Delegate Rush?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Ransom, do you have a subcommittee report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1409 allows the General Assembly to make technical adjustments to legislative districts only for the purpose of making sure they coincide with voting precincts. The subcommittee recommended reporting this 5-2, and I so move.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report House Bill 1409. Any other discussion? Delegate Sickles?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, since the Constitution says that we should only redistrict in 2011 every 10 years thereafter, I think this might need a constitutional amendment, therefore I oppose the bill.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of reporting will vote yes. Clerk will close the roll. That bill is reported. Does that complete your report, Delegate Ransom?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let's see. Minshew, all right. Delegate Minshew, do you have a subcommittee report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'll give my final report as chairman of the Constitutional Amendment Subcommittee. Our committee was assigned 28 House Joint Resolutions proposing amendments to the 1971 Constitution of Virginia. All were first resolutions. The subcommittee heard from all the chief patrons and members of the public on these 28 resolutions in a 3-hour hearing held on January 23rd. On January the 30th, we deliberated on these 28 resolutions and made our recommendations to the full committee. In accordance with the chairman's request, our subcommittee was asked to limit our reported bills for recommendation to not more than 3. We honored this request and reported 3 bills. The balance of these 25 bills assigned to our committee were laid on the table, one in a separate motion to table, and the remaining 24 on a block motion to table. The first reported resolution, Mr. Chairman, was HJ 545, brought to us by Delegate Head. The resolution provides that the General Assembly may suspend or nullify any and all portions of any administrative rule or regulation by joint resolution agreed to by a majority of members of each House. The subcommittee recommends reporting on a 4-3 vote, and I would so move.
Second. There's an amendment on that. Let's move the amendment to get it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would move the amendment to HJ 545.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to adopt the amendment to House Joint Resolution 545. Any discussion on the amendment? Delegate Sickles.
Mr. Chairman, my light is on because I just want to be recognized at the appropriate time.
All right, all those in favor of adopting the amendment will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the amended resolution is before us. Delegate Minshew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommends reporting the bill as amended, and I would so move.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report House Joint Resolution 545. Any discussion? Delegate Sickles.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is an overreach and a grab at executive authority, so I would urge the committee to vote no.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of reporting will vote yes. Clerk will close the roll. That resolution is reported. Delegate Minshew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second resolution that came before our subcommittee was House Joint Resolution 562, brought to us by Delegate Miyares. The resolution provides that real property tax exemption for the principal residence of the surviving spouse of a disabled military veteran applies without restriction, is portable, without restriction when the spouse is moving to a different place of residence. There is an amendment on this bill, Mr. Chairman, and I would move the amendment.
All right, there's a motion and a second to adopt the amendment to House Joint Resolution 562. Any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman,
Delegate Sickles.
could you explain what could council explain what the amendment does?
Mr. Chair, Delegate Sickles, the amendment just corrects a typo that was made in the bill title.
Thank you.
All those in favor of adopting the amendment will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the amended resolution is before us. Delegate Minshew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommends reporting HJ 562 on a 6-to-1 vote, and I would so move.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report House Joint Resolution 562. Delegate Miller.
Mr. Chairman, can I have some questions for council?
Go ahead.
I just want to confirm something. I was the lone no vote. So right now, any locality in the Commonwealth of Virginia must, or is it county by county and county city by city discretion on if they exempt the property tax?
Mr. Chair, for this particular exemption, there is no discretion of the locality. The General Assembly was required to prescribe by law an exemption for taxation, and the localities have to provide that.
Another question. So what I want to find out is, could the corresponding, if this amendment passes, we have to come up with corresponding legislation, correct?
Correct.
In the corresponding legislation, could it be written that a spouse of a deceased member of our military couldn't purchase a far more expensive home in the Commonwealth of Virginia and still get the portability? What I'm getting at is could the legislation say that the tax value of a home would have to be equal to or lesser than the current home they're living in? Because the testimony we kept hearing is people wanted to scale down. And to scale down, because they've lost a spouse. And when they scale down, they would lose their ability based on the home they're in when their spouse was killed. The concern I have is someone that would perhaps scale up from a $200,000 house to $1 million house and now not be paying property taxes. Could the corresponding legislation say that, could we put that in the corresponding legislation that the tax value of the home has to be equal to or lesser than the current house they're in?
Mr. Chair, on lines 20 and 21, he says within the restrictions and conditions prescribed therein, meaning the law that the General Assembly passes. I think that the law would be safely within that language if you included in something to the effect of Delegate.
Thank you.
Other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to confirm that the answer to that question was yes. I think it's a very important question. I appreciate the gentleman for asking it. And that was yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor of reporting House Joint Resolution 562 will vote yes. Clerk will close the roll. The resolution is reported. Delegate Minshew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The third and final reported resolution that came before our subcommittee was House Joint Resolution 693, brought to us by Delegate LaRocque. The resolution provides, really requires the General Assembly to maintain permanent and separate transportation funds. That's the Commonwealth Transportation Fund, Transportation Trust Fund, and the Highway Maintenance and Operating Fund, and such other funds. This is sometimes referred to a lockbox bill. It's been before the committee before. It's identified in the report before you. The committee recommended reporting this bill to the full committee on a 7-0 vote, and I would so move.
The motion to report, is there a second?
Mr. Chairman.
Motion and a second to report. Delegate Sickles.
I would say, I mean, I don't have anything, I've voted for this numerous times before we passed 2313, but I believe when we passed that law, all the taxes that support that law go away if we ever did this. So I'm not sure it's necessary. That was the provision that Delegate Alba put in there to protect these funds, and I'm not sure we need a constitutional amendment. I guess I'll vote for it, but we protected ourselves in the legislation itself. Thank you.
All right. Delegate LaRocque, would you like to address that?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I think fundamentally the answer to that is that was an expression of the will of the legislature. When we make this a constitutional amendment, that is the strongest statement that we can make as a combination of the legislature and the voting public, that future legislators won't reverse that decision.
Other discussion? All those in favor of reporting will vote yes. Clerk will close the roll. The resolution is reported. Delegate Jones. Motion to adjourn, is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Yeah. No, let's go.
He wouldn't recognize it.
He said it 4 times.
That was pretty good.
Do the right thing.
Hey, you worthless bastard. Do your job.
You never touched the border?
No. Oh, but it was still plugged into the... It was still plugged into the...
Right, okay.
It should still work though, right?
Yeah.
It's toward the end of the calendar. So
maybe the mic's brown.
Whatever, I'll let you go.
Remember what you saw happen today, and tell everyone about how they've treated reasonable, common sense, bipartisan redistricting reform in Virginia in this specific chamber on this docket today. Tell everyone. They made a motion to adjourn before there was ever a motion to report a bill that was tabled. So they made a motion to adjourn before they had to take a vote on a bill that was a really good one that a lot of them actually wanted to support, but the House leadership was opposed to. That's exactly, there was a tricky parliamentary procedure to prohibit people from having to vote on an issue that everyone knows we want. The bill never got
whole committee was here.
Absolutely, the whole committee was here, guys. So every member of this committee got a chance to fill that.
This is business as usual at the General Assembly, especially in the House side. Because they control so completely the House, what they do is they make their own rules. And you saw this right in front of you today. This happens all the time.
You know what, guys? Gerrymandering only protects bad policy. Everyone's doing just fine, right? And so no one has to worry about this if they want to stand up and do the right thing. There will be a shot at this coming from the Senate. The state Senate has some great bills coming over to this chamber, and we've got to keep organizing. I know it sucks to lose. I hate it more than anybody. But this is amazing. This is amazing to see. And on Facebook and on social media and on our email system, we have gone, it just ballooned all over the Commonwealth. People aren't going to be quiet about this anymore. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with us, and we're not done yet.
They don't trust us because they fear us. What they do now, someone that like us at 1 o'clock in the morning says an enormous amount to them, and I guarantee they all went back to their offices and they are thinking about it, and they were not going to forget you people.
They're going to hear from us.
They'll hear us.
Call them now. Call them tomorrow. Tell everybody you can, guys. Thank you for being here. We will send out. We're going to get on social media. We're going to talk to the press, and we need you guys to amplify all of that.
Thank you.
Who is the
You can go to
chairman?
their offices right now. You can show up. You can absolutely show up. Go to their offices. Tell them what you think, guys. If you need to find out who your people are, we're happy to help you with that. Thank you. That's why we're going to win.
I'm glad I'm also glad all the seats were up.